in Ballymallala in Kappa, just outside Dungarvan and Waterford. I'm farming here with my dad Jim, my mother Breed and my wife Maya, and with 4 kids. A cousin of mine Shane is with us part-time as well. So we're spring calving a block from about the 20th of February for 12 weeks. We dry off generally the first week of December, milking 285 cows this year, going to 310 next year. Bit of a mixture. It's a Holstein Friesian with a bit of crossbred thrown in as well. I suppose there's a more crossbred with the last couple of years, but still trying to maintain a medium-sized powerful cow with good solids. Hitting just kind of around the 600 kilos of solids, 580 to 600 kilos of solids. It's a young herd, so this year of the 285, 140 of them were first or second calvers, so we'd be hoping that as they mature we can get a bit more out of them. Feed-wise then, we're probably feeding 900 to a tonne of meal, 900 kilos to a tonne of meal. Typically for the area, I suppose, trying to get as much out of grass as we can. So we're milking off a platform of about 110 hectares. We're, I suppose, farming maybe 145, 150 hectares in total. We're airing our own replacements and bringing them through to calving down as well. So it's a 50 unit Dairy Master rotary. It was commissioned the 25th of February this year. So the parlour, as I said, is by Dairy Master. Shed is by Gleason's in Tipperary. Build work was done by Mick Fenton of Fenton Construction. Plumbing was by Broderick's and of Broderick's Electrical, and the place was wired by Brian Whelan. We were milking in a 20 unit herringbone before that. Nothing at all wrong with the parlour, but the collecting yard, like that parlour was built in 1982 for 70-80 cows, and I suppose we just outgrown it, and cow flow was poor, milking time was taking us too long, needed too much labour, and we just wanted to put in a system that was going to let us reduce milking time and reduce labour. The old 20 unit, I suppose, if we were on the numbers we're on today, we'd be looking at kind of a milking time of 2 3/4 to 3 hours. Washing up was awkward then afterwards, because cows were kind of in a long holding area, so we had a lot of scraping and washing up to do. So I suppose we've more than halved that total time, and we've, I suppose, halved the labour required as well, so we're delighted with that. Swift flow revolver, it has dump line, retention bars, cluster flush, ACRs, feed to yield with the Milk Manager programme. The old parlour, with cluster removers, we actually had installed a cluster flush in recent years. I suppose the big thing with this is the cow flow. I mean, you're standing in one spot and there's cows just coming continuously to you. You control the speed, you control what you do with the cow afterwards. If you want to draft her left, right, if you want to dump her milk. So we've got great control over what we do with cows now. In the mornings there'll be just usually 2 of us around in the mornings, but you'll manage fine with one. In the evenings, generally one person is milking. Now, a second person is always a massive addition for washing up afterwards, because you won't have the wash up time, but you'll probably take 30% of the time out of it. So second person is handy for wash up afterwards, but you'll still manage fine with one person, which is kind of what we wanted to get to. I suppose one of the best decisions we ever made on the farm. Thrilled. Yeah, I suppose it's just kind of given us a bit more time back. We were always under pressure to get cows started on time because it was going to take so long, and it was getting to the stage where there wasn't a whole lot of our day left to do the other stuff around, say, managing grass or managing cows, so we're delighted with it, yeah. Our best time was you'd put the herd through in about an hour and 5. That would be my best time now for an evening milking. Maybe 10 minutes longer for the morning. And wash up, if you have 2 people, wash up will take you about 20 to 25 minutes. That's washing the cups, washing the deck, washing the outer standing, and washing the area, the walk back area through the drafting. So if you have somebody with you, that'll be the time, and if you don't, it'll probably add 10 minutes onto it. Incredibly well, because it was 25th of February, so I think there was 200 calved at the time, so our plan was to be in here for Christmas, or to have it done for Christmas and run the dry herd through and be ready for the spring, and that didn't happen. So through no one's fault, it was just that everything ran on. So we were a bit worried, I suppose, about coming in here the 25th of February. We were kind of thinking we're in the middle of the spring and we're still calving and we're busy trying to manage grass and do everything else. But we had a lot of people on hand at first milking. We milked in the old parlour that morning. We did a dry run through this at 11 o'clock that day without milking a cow, just to walk cows onto it. That went very well, and we decided, I suppose our plan was to do that for 2 or 3 days, just do a dry run in the middle of the day. And that dry run went so well that we decided we would milk them there that evening. And that very first milking on the rotary, even though we had to shove on a lot of cows, we were quicker than we were the previous evening in the old parlour. So, and it only got faster after that. Like day 2, 3 and 4, like by day 4 I'd say we were only down to trying to push on maybe 5% of the herd, because the heifers were probably the first to take to it. They kind of had no massive amount of time spent going through a herringbone parlour.